pre-show.
Tonight on ELN Local News.
Sexual assault on campus. Hear the story of one student who says she is a victim of sexual offense, and take a first look at survey responses from first-year students.
Changes coming to ELN. We have a preview of what campus will look like come fall semester.
And watch what happens when one pint-sized pitcher laced up with the Phoenix this weekend.
I wanted to come here.
The Versus Kids or head shaving event.
Be happy.
Those stories now on ELN Local News. Welcome to ELN Local News for May 11th, 2015. I'm Jasmine Turner.
And I'm Derry Grumbach. ELN has a first look into sexual assault statistics here at ELN. The results come from a program called Haven, a required program for all incoming freshmen that educates and surveys about sexual assault, relationships, and stalking. Our Rajat Agarwal and Meredith Stuss are in studio with a look at those numbers and one student's personal account. Rajat?
Thanks, Gary. The results from ELN's Haven survey show that more than 2/3 of current first-year class think sexual assault is a significant problem on ELN's campus. Dean of Student Health and Wellness, Janelyn Patterson, says these numbers to be released in the fall show that they're similar across the nation.
I think we're right there. Some of our preliminary numbers from Haven from the fall indicate we experience next to our national norms less, but when we have reports about from our last report in 2012 from the National College Health Assessment, we were right in there. We were right in the normative data. So.
Now, Dean Patterson gave ELN a first look at the results from the Haven surveys conducted 6 weeks after this year's freshmen arrived on campus. According to the results, 91% of first-year students think that explicit consent is the best way to know if someone is okay with sexual activity. The survey also says 92% of first-year students polled believe they have a good understanding of what sexual assault is compared to the 86% national average. The ELN Haven report says 2.3% of first-year females say they have been forced into sexual conduct with someone without their explicit consent. Now, Meredith Stutz is here with one student's personal story. Meredith?
Rajat, I reached out to one current ELN junior now studying abroad who was willing to speak to me about how she says she was a victim of sexual offense here at ELN.
This is the type of stuff that you see like on TV. You know, you don't see this happening in real life and you don't really expect it ever to happen to you, and it did.
In the March 2014 snowstorm, Takiva Mitchell says she lost power and headed to her male friend's Campus Trace apartment. As the night went on, she says the atmosphere went from inviting to uncomfortable. Mitchell was watching TV in her friend's bedroom when he came in and shut the door.
It was like a transition into something that would like change my life forever.
Mitchell says that friend, then 20-year-old Adrienne McClendon, who is still an ELN student, became sexually aggressive by laying on top of her and groping her.
I had given up so much in that room. I don't even know what I was thinking at the moment because I don't remember. I just know that I just wanted to leave.
Mitchell filed an ELN Town Police report against McClendon hours after the incident. McClendon was charged with sexual battery and false imprisonment, or holding someone against their will. McClendon pled guilty to the false imprisonment charge and had his sexual battery charge dropped as a part of his plea agreement. McClendon entered an offered plea, where McClendon acknowledges that the state has enough evidence to convict him. He is awaiting sentencing for that false imprisonment charge. Sentencing for that charge will come in May of 2016. Mitchell says the path to recovery since her alleged attack has been made possible through her friends, family, and her own will.
My favorite 3 P's: progress, patience, and perseverance. Like, those 3 P's got me where I am today.
And it's that progress that Associate Vice President for Student Life, Janelyn Patterson, says is key to uniting campuses to end sexual assault.
You know, it used to be the feminists would talk about it, and maybe the athletes would talk about it, and maybe the Greeks would talk about it. But I think now it's really permeated the student culture.
Patterson and Mitchell both recognize there are still areas of growth needed on ELN's campus to eradicate sexual assault. They say continuing the conversation is the only way to do it.
I called McClendon on the phone, who hung up on me, and then later referred me to his lawyer via email. His lawyer said on the phone, quote, he is not guilty of a crime. McClendon is a defensive back for the football team, and according to Associate Director of Communications for Elon Athletics, Chris Rash, as of today, McClendon is in good standing with the football team. Dean Patterson and Takiva Mitchell both agree that the best thing someone can do is to quote, speak up, whether by telling a friend or an official. As we reported, Elon provides a 24-hour, year-round anonymous safe line. That number is 336-278-3333.
In light of the racial slur incident earlier this semester and racial tensions mounting across the country, the university is holding an Elon Stands Together rally and march tomorrow. The Rally for Respect and Racial Equality is supported by the Center for Race, Ethnicity, and Diversity Education, the Interfraternity Council, the Pan-Hellenic Council, the National Pan-Hellenic Council, SGA, and more. There will be speakers sharing their experiences, along with a performance from Elon Gospel Choir. President of Elon Gospel Choir, Toya Jenkins, shares her thoughts of what she hopes to get from the rally.
Equality. Equality, education, understanding, because it is, as far as I know, there are some students who don't know that these issues are happening. There are some students that see that these issues are not affecting at all, and so if it doesn't affect you, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to care as much.
The rally starts tomorrow at 4:15 p.m. at the Speaker's Corner by Mosley.
Security updates are popping up around campus, with 50 new cameras being installed in dorms, pathways, and classrooms. Elon plans to have a total of 500 cameras on more than 600 acres of campus. Chief of Campus Safety and Police Dennis Frank says that these cameras are being strategically placed with the goal to maintain a safe campus environment. For more information on the updates and how they might affect you, check out our website, elonlocalnews.com.
Tony's Pub and Subs faces a $40,000 fine for overcrowding, and owner Tony Caruso is still working to keep the business up and hopes to let bigger crowds in soon. The Alamance County Fire Marshal issued a citation last Friday after an inspector found 369 people in the bar. That is 270 more people than the bar's posted occupancy of 99. Tony's was fined for $150 for each person over occupancy. The bar was still open all weekend and even hosted the Performing Arts Prom on Saturday. Caruso says the business is still figuring out how to financially deal with the fine. Right now, he says the bar is being more careful about how many people it lets in, but is looking to raise the allowed occupancy over the summer.
There was confusion on my part. So, admittedly, I had too many in here. And there was confusion on my part on how many I had, but it won't be nothing to get it raised to almost double that.
Till the occupancy changes, Caruso says the bar will cap attendance at 99.
Finals are starting this week, and the summer is around the corner for students. But for some members of the Elon community, long hours and hard work are about to start.
Summers are a busy time because of the less population on our campus.
This summer, Elon University will begin construction on numerous projects across campus in time for the 2015-2016 school year.
We have several projects already in construction and several that will start once graduation is complete.
And University architect Brad Moore says that there are as many as 7 major projects underway. Currently, they are working on the Music Production Recording Arts Building, the Danley Recreational Center, and the Daniel Commons. After graduation, they are starting renovation of Carlton, Powell, and Mosley, and are breaking ground for the new Communications Building.
The parking lot that's currently outside of McEwen and Whitley, it'll be fenced off, and then we'll start to be constructing that building. So probably in August, they'll have a large hole dug there for the basement.
Moore says a highly anticipated building is set to be one of the focal points of Elon's campus.
By far, one of the most exciting projects coming up is the addition to the communications building. It'll be sort of the welcome to Elon. As you come over the railroad tracks, you'll see this building with this large stair tower, this glass atrium that connects the existing McEwen to the new project. That's going to be a stunning addition to our campus.
Moore says that building on such a tight deadline can be challenging for his staff, but worth it in the end.
We're on campus every day. We're seeing our clients over and over again, so it's really rewarding to see how the university has changed and to see how people are using and appreciating the work that we do.
Atoria Mills, Elon Local News.
And the design for Elon's new School of Communications, projected to open in fall 2017, may be illegal. The design plans is supposed to include a ticker or a scrolling sign on the side of the building that faces the street, but the ticker violates a Town of Elon planning and zoning ordinance, which states that flashing, blinking, or moving signs are prohibited. Town planner Sean Tenser says Elon University has proposed a change to this ordinance, which, if approved by the Board of Aldermen, would allow the ticker to be built as long as the university doesn't use it to advertise.
In light of the controversy surrounding the new Starbucks coming to campus, the university has been claiming that students requested the new coffee shop on campus via a survey that was issued earlier this academic school year. Elon Local News has seen one of these surveys. The results say out of 4 options, Starbucks came in third on the survey. Chris Fulkerson, Vice President of Administrative Services, says it was the highest rated option available for the university. Einstein Bagels was the #1 choice, but Elon was already getting ready to open up an Einstein's at the Dannelly Center. Panda Express was the #2 option, but Fulkerson explained the business did not want to come to campus because of a previous Panda Express that failed in Burlington. For more on this, check out our website, elonlocalnews.com. And coming up on Elon Local News, he's got PhDs in divinity and theology. I sat down with a campus employee with a lot to say.
And later in the show, the Phoenix baseball team was out getting fresh cuts, all for charity. Now, before we go to this break, this is our last show of the semester, so let's take a look at some of the biggest stories we've covered and the stories we will continue to follow.
Take a look.
ELN covered several large stories this year, from crime,
Sheriff's Office says Gammon's charges include 1 count of trafficking,
to social issues.
Whether the N-word had different meanings if used by people of different races.
This is ELN's Year in Review. ELN covered several drug busts this year, including the arrest of a first-year student.
Tyler Heath Gammon is still in jail after he was arrested Saturday, November 22nd, on charges of trafficking and possession of LSD, as well as intent to deliver and sell.
Gammon was arrested with 900 to 1,000 doses of the drug and was given a $250,000 bond. Gammon's family posted the bail, and he is currently awaiting trial in June. 2 fraternity chapters here at Elon are no longer on campus.
The university began an investigation on Sigma Pi and suspended all activities for the chapter.
Sigma Pi and Pi Kappa Phi fraternities lost their charter after the university found evidence they had been hazing. Pi Kappa Phi can apply for a new charter in spring 2017, while Sigma Pi must wait until fall 2017. In March, a first-year student was charged with rape.
Tristan Hardinger was arrested Friday, accused of second-degree rape and second-degree sexual offense of a female student. The Elon University Police report says alcohol was involved on both sides.
Hardinger's family posted a $75,000 bail, and he has returned to his home in Pennsylvania while awaiting his trial. This semester, students pushed for racial equality through discussions and activism around campus. This comes after 2 reported incidents of racial slurs on campus, a rare open letter from the university's president, and the national attention of the Freddie Gray riots in Baltimore. With some of our top stories from this academic year, I'm Perry John.
While your schoolwork might be wrapping up, your internship or job workload is about to begin. We have our Corey Shegda in the studio to give you tips on how to make the most of your summer internship. Corey?
Thank you, Jasmine. Now, most of you know that you need to dress the part or go that extra mile to impress at your internship, but I have a couple tips that might actually be new to you. First, identify 2 or 3 skills that you didn't have before the internship that you want to strengthen during the summer. If you communicate this to your employer, they can see that you are planning ahead and will get more out of the position. Next, don't hover. Though you should always ask extra questions and put in that extra effort, if you're constantly hovering over other employees, it can come off as needy and it might actually make a bad impression. But make sure that you're paying attention to that office culture. If you see people going to trivia together, grabbing lunch as a group, don't be afraid to join in. You want to be professional, but you also want to get to know everyone. And with those lunches, be sure to bring cash every day. Now, this might seem like an odd tip, but if an executive invites you to lunch or to get coffee, you want to be prepared and able to pay for the both of you. Now, remember, an internship is essentially a 3-month-long first impression, so starting you off on a good note, I'm Corey Shegda. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Corey. And if you are leaving Elon for the summer or getting ready to graduate like myself, you might not be able to take everything from your dorm room back home. Elon's Don't Trash It campaign starts May 13th, where students can donate any extra food, furniture, and clothing. There will be drop-off stations all over campus, and donations will go to nonprofits around the country.
He has 2 PhDs and he loves to talk. I stopped by the Global Commons to catch up with a one-of-a-kind maintenance worker. Take a look. 52-year-old Thaddeus Carr is the floor tech and custodian for the Global Neighborhood Commons. While Carr says his life is squeaky clean now, it hasn't always been that way.
I went from being unemployed for about a year and a half to Elon rescuing me from the pits of despair.
When Carr lost his job as a mental health therapist in 2012, he says 4 letters saved him.
My world was rescued by ELN.
While his job is cleaning the floors, his hobby is talking.
Thaddeus, you doing all right? Good, good. I've got a couple of set mantras that I ask them in conversations, like what color is respect? What color is love? What color is anger?
Carr has been speaking to students every night since he began working at Elon in 2014.
I try to make sure that I say things that are positive and motivating and not give any leading or open-ended or forcing my opinion on anybody. You know, just trying to unlock some keys. I've met a lot of great kids here, man.
The advice Carr gives is enlightening to all students.
Because we have to take life as life comes. There are a lot of things that we would like to do that we can't do until those doors open and those opportunities present themselves.
What Carr gains from the conversations makes his day.
It makes me feel good at the end of the day to know that I may be able to say something in a positive light or a positive spin on something that a kid may not have had the access to.
A man with a wealth of knowledge, sharing it one conversation at a time. Gary Grumbach, Elon Local News.
If you want to strike up a conversation with Carr, he works from 11:30 p.m. to 8 a.m. Sunday through Thursday.
And coming up after the break, it's his favorite thing in the world, and this weekend he got to take a swing. See how this young Phoenix fan fared with the Elon baseball team.
And I'll be out here after the break with a look at this week's 5-day forecast. You're watching Elon Local News.
Singer-songwriter Tyler Hilton visited Elon this weekend. The former One Tree Hill heartthrob headlined Rock the Lawn in front of Alumni Gym. Though Hilton's last appearance on the CW show came in 2012, he says he still gets recognized from his role.
I get to still keep coming back and like talking to you about something that I would think nobody else would care about, but like you guys do, and it's like, oh cool, I do too, that was so fun, you know?
More of Hilton's performance, check out elonlocalnews.com.
He started but ended with showers yesterday. Our Katie Kaler is live in downtown Elon right now. How's it looking out there, Katie?
Hey Jasmine, even at about 6:20, it is still a muggy 83 degrees out here. And with just one day left of class here at Elon, here's a look at what you may or may not be missing as you study for those exams. Looking ahead to the rest of the week, on Tuesday, expect highs around 90 and lows just below 60, with the possibility of a thunderstorm in the afternoon. On Wednesday, highs will be in the 80s with lows in around 50 and partly sunny. Expect the good weather to continue on Thursday with highs in the 70s and lows in the 50s. The sunshine will continue on Friday with highs back in the 80s and lows around 60. Unfortunately, the rain returns on Saturday with occasional showers and highs around 80 and lows around 60s. Looking ahead to graduation under the Oaks in just 12 days from now, it looks like the rain will hold off, but it will be hot with a high around 90 and low around 60. For the last time under the Oaks, I'm Katie Kaler, Elon Local News. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Katie. Now, before we turn it over to Brianna Eck with sports, our Justin Beagle is here to introduce you to a pint-sized baseball player from this weekend. Justin.
That's right, Gary. It's not every day you get to suit up with your favorite baseball team for a game, but for 4-year-old Braxton Ware, that dream became a reality. Take a look at how this guy played this weekend. Braxton Ware likes going to school and playing sports, but there's one thing he loves in this world more than anything: ELN baseball.
I wanted to come here. Versus Cancer head shaving event to help raise awareness.
Braxton and his family won the Phoenix Experience, a fan giveaway from ELN Athletics, earning Braxton the chance to serve as an honorary player on the ELN baseball team during Sunday's game.
He got to be a part of the team, sit on the bench, and warm up with the team.
And like all baseball fans, Braxton has his favorite player, the preseason CAA Player of the Year.
He pretends to be Casey Jones most of the time, so when we told him he was going to get to meet Casey Jones and the team and do all that stuff, he was pumped.
What's your favorite part about Casey Jones?
Hitting home runs.
Although not getting to step up to the plate for his chance at a home run, Braxton did step up on the mound to throw the game's first pitch.
Fastball in there for strike one.
It's nice to get to have him come out and actually be on the grass and the turf and having your imaginary game out here, right?
Even head coach Mike Kennedy enjoyed having Braxton around.
He's a fun kid. He was having a good time with our guys, so it was nice having him in there.
And while he only got to be a Phoenix for a day, his family says ELN baseball could definitely be in their son's future. Now, ELN went on to lose 11-9, but Braxton got to see Jones hit a home run in his final at-bat from Latham Park. And when we come back after the break, Brianna Eck will be here with more in sports.
Welcome back to ELN. I'm Brianna Eck with an update on This Week in Sports. Well, ELN students from New England won't be happy to hear this, but Patriots quarterback and Super Bowl MVP Tom Brady has been suspended for 4 games in the Deflategate scandal. An independent leave investigation found that it was more probable than not that Brady was generally aware that the footballs were being deflated prior to the AFC Championship game. The Patriots were also fined $1 million and stripped 2 draft picks. Brady and the Patriots can appeal these sanctions. Now, our Justin Beagle just introduced you to ELN baseball's most adorable player, but this weekend, Justin also got a look at how the team is stepping up to the plate to fight childhood cancer.
Latham Park was buzzing Sunday afternoon, and it had nothing to do with the baseball game.
Like, literally because of ELN baseball. They were helping kids beat cancer.
For the last 3 years, Chase Jones and volunteers from the Versus Cancer Foundation have come to ELN and given players a fresh cut, all raising money for cancer research.
And that's not just a feel-good story anymore, but it's the truth. Kids are having better outcomes to beat this thing because of what this baseball team's been able to do in the past 4 years.
Now, while I don't necessarily need a haircut for some players, it's a long overdue. Sophomore pitcher Chris Hall went 6 months without a haircut and says with a new do, he may need to adjust his uniform.
Gonna need to buy a new hat. I mean, can feel the breeze on my head now. It's a little cooler, but definitely need a new hat.
Other players were sad to see their lovely locks go.
You know, it was. I've been putting a lot of work in it, so you know it's sad to see it go. But it is for a good cause.
While the haircut only lasts a few seconds, Coach Kennedy and the players know there's a lasting impact.
It means the world. It teaches them a lesson that, you know, sometimes in baseball you worry about yourself so much. You know, I got to get a hit, I got to do this. Well, you know what? In the real big scheme of things, we're not very important. Let's do what we can to help others.
And while other players adjust to their new looks, Hall is already prepping for next year.
Probably going to do it again next year, go another year, try not shave it again at Thanksgiving, but try and go a full year.
Justin Beagle,
I think it's still short.
ELN Local News.
ELN currently leads the nation in money raised this year with $34,000 and has raised more than $43,000 in the last 3 years. Now our Zora Stevenson is in the studio with more in sports. Zora?
Thanks, Bree. With ELN's big move to the CAA, I sat down with some student athletes to see what they thought about their first year in the new league.
I am pleased to announce today that ELN University has accepted an invitation to join the Colonial Athletics Association, a big day for ELN.
On May 23, 2013, ELN announced it was leaving the Southern Conference and entering the Colonial Athletic Association. Now, close to a year later, some of ELN's athletes reflect on their first year in the new league.
We grew a lot over the season and realizing how different the CAA was from the SoCon.
Athletes describe the biggest difference between the SoCon and CAA as physical.
A lot of big guys in this league, and each team is physical in their own way. And I think it might have surprised us early, but we adjusted.
So far in ELN's first year in the CAA, there has been 7 individual conference champions, 2 Athletes of the Year, and 2 Rookies of the Year. Women's track was the first team to win a conference championship for Elon during its inaugural year.
And I'll tell you what, the young ladies really knew.
Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Bree. Thank you, Zora. This is ELN's last broadcast of the year, and we know we have a lot of people to thank. So while you saw some of us every single week, what you didn't see were some of the faces behind some of our greatest work. 16 of our staff members, including my co-anchor, Zora Stevenson, and Brianna Eck, will be graduating in 12 days. On behalf of all of the underclassmen, we can't thank the class of 2015 enough for their passion and dedication to this organization. Seniors, they're here in the studio. We love you guys, and you know you will be missed, but we know you will do great things. That's all we have it for Elon Local News throughout the summer. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. For all of us here at Elon Local News, see you in the fall.
And I'm Preston Willett.
I'm Meredith Stutz.
And I'm Justin Beagle.
Here are some of the stories we're following.
The final decision on whether Sigma Pi will stay on campus.
Remembering Elon Jr. Trent Stetler.
Though most students' property isn't damaged.
Tristan Hardinger was arrested Friday,
where he's been following the school's preparation for the storm.
A decision on how to make up the 8 missed days is yet to be made.